Hi, folks. So today I have a special guest here on my channel, Steve Shives. Say hi, Steve.
Hi, everybody. It's me again.
Again. And so we're doing something that we kind of sort of did with the Obi-Wan Kenobi show. Da, 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 da. Like I need to start writing the melody down, because I think I'm starting to get pretty consistent on what it'll sound like if Disney, if you ever want to do an Obi-Wan Kenobi variety show.
You're just waiting for that call from Lucasfilm.
I know.
It's like, I've even got the song.
So we for a little while we've had like a list of movies that each of us has seen and wants the other to see and they haven't seen. And after we watched after Steve had watched did you watch all of the Obi-Wan Kenobi show?
Yes, I watched every episode.
Bless your heart. So I was like, well, we could watch, I could watch the first episode and we could talk about it and then I could put it on my channel. And so we did that. And then, we talked about it a little more and figured we could do that with our movie list. So we're starting off with one of Steve's absolute favorite movies. Excuse me. Films. God. City Lights. Starring who's in it? Hey,
Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah. The guy, the short guy with the hat. And I know who Charlie Chaplin is.
Yes, that is a fine way to describe one of the great artists in the history of the 20th century.
I mean, did he do any movies without the hat?
Yes, he did. He even did a couple movies without the mustache.
Without the mustache. You knew that was going to be my next question.
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit later on, like some of his lesser known later work is without the mustache.
See, once you lose the mustache, it's like jumping the shark. We should, and actually, it's a counterpoint to growing the beard. Losing the mustache.
True. That's true.
The reason we're starting with City Lights is because Steve and his best friend Jason are going to review City Lights on the Late Seating podcast as part of the Let Me Listen podcast series. And so I thought that would be a great, you're watching it anyhow, again. I thought I could just, bite the bullet, watch one of the greatest films of the 20th century.
I appreciate your sacrifice.
Yes. Oh, Lordy. Okay.
So.
Okay, here we go.
If you are ready.
I don't know, Steve.
Okay.
But I hope I like it. I really hope I like it.
I hope you like it too. I hope you like it too. But listen, all it is we're just going to watch a movie.
It's just punch, guys. I promise it's non-alcoholic punch too, because this is the PG-13 version.
Right. Well, and I mean, you don't want to be getting drunk during a viewing of a film where Chaplin does his world famous drunk routine.
Sure.
So,
I mean, maybe that would elevate it.
Maybe.
Okay, well, let's watch this one sober this time.
Okay, here we go. For myself, for about the 1800th time, and for Dana, for the very first time, let's watch Charlie Chaplin's City Lights.
All right. So, do they always have the same music with it?
Yeah, actually, I mean, if you want to get technical, this is not technically a silent film. It is presented as a silent film, but it actually has a synchronous soundtrack. Actually, you can see on the screen there, music composed by Charles Chaplin. Chaplin wrote a score for it that is, yeah.
Wow. So.
He's a Charlie Brown parent.
I didn't expect quite so much dialogue in a silent movie.
It's an early bad lip reading.
That would play very differently today.
Yes, it would.
We're just going to all stand down here and yell, which is certainly going to make you want to come towards us.
Oh, I think I get it. You want me to get completely down off the statue. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Oh, flowers for dinner again.
For tea, silly. Duh.
Oh.
Anytime.
I know what'll help. Some alcohol.
More alcohol. Tous les arbres, tout aimier. Stars. He really does have lovely hair. Holy smokes.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow, he's got great hair. Can you guess where this is going?
You see,
Let me tell you.
you see this one,
I
don't
can guess
you?
where this is going.
Nothing like plain, dry spaghetti. I'm the drunkest, so I'll drive.
You know, maybe I should have said that earlier, Chuck.
Am I driving?
Not anymore, you're not. You have no friends, sir. That is quite good. He got them big old clown shoes and she ain't stepping on them at all without looking down. That's nice, dear.
God, how long are you going to take cutting that bread, old woman? Come on.
Why do you think they say talk about the best thing since sliced bread?
Because it takes forever.
But I want breakfast. I'm hungry.
Good morning, ladies.
Tuck it away, dude. There you go. See, there you go. Those big old pants, they good for something. Uh-oh. No. Oh, it's not Nona.
As soon as modern medicine is invented, I'll be able to help.
Grandma, you're terrible at lying. Just say, oh, I'm so excited to see you so happy.
Everything's fine.
Why is she hiding the letter from the blind girl?
From her blind granddaughter, I know.
So is that egg or onion that he put on next?
I believe that was onion. That's a sandwich for you.
That is
two pieces of plain white bread, a gigantic block of cheese, and a couple of slices of raw onion.
Can you fall down?
Can you take a punch? Your answer does not matter. I can't believe this movie is suggesting that boxing might not be totally on the up and up.
What? Next you'll say that about wrestling.
It's shocking, I know, to even hear it spoken out loud, but... I think I'm doing pretty good. What do you guys think?
I have something. See that sign back there? That sign? The sign that says EXIT?
I'm hallucinating. That's a good sign, right?
This is the most interesting boxing match that I think I've ever seen.
And he pushes them into traffic, happy ending. So, that was City Lights. What did you think?
It was really interesting. I did not stay engaged through the whole thing. I did find my mind wandering. Ooh. And I don't mean to sound condescending, but I'm like, I can guess that it's historical, it's artistically historical significance is evident if I knew more about film history. I just don't.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not really a milestone in terms of film history, like for any sort of technical reason. You know, I mean, it was, technically speaking, it was Chaplin's first sound film, even though it's presented as a silent film, because it was his first film that had a synchronous soundtrack. Most people think The Great Dictator, think of The Great Dictator as his first sound film because that actually has dialogue. But this, and then Modern Times, which he made a couple years after this, which was the last movie where he actually played the little tramp. Those were both, they're both technically sound films, even though they're presented as silent films. So no, I mean, it's not really remembered for being anything other than just a really, really great movie.
So what makes it, I mean, honestly here, what makes it really great? I will say, I can see the way the different vignettes fit together, and support the development of it feels weird to call it a romance because like we don't see, and this would be very hard to do in a film without dialogue. We don't really see the development of their relationship. It's just he visits her frequently and buys her things. And so you have to like guess at everything else because it's not actually in the movie.
Here's my take on why it's a great movie and why it's one of my very, very favorite movies. It's, first of all, it's a great showpiece for Chaplin. If you ever run across anybody who has never heard of Charlie Chaplin or has heard of him but has never seen one of his movies and is like, what's the big deal about Charlie Chaplin? Why do people still talk about his movies 100 years later? This is a good movie to show them because you get all of the things that made him great. You get the comic timing. You get the way he could set up these comic set pieces, like the bit near the beginning with the elevator in the sidewalk where he, goes back and forth and it looks like he's going to step into the hole and then he doesn't. There's the pathos of the tramp character and of him, being this sort of lowly person socially. He's basically homeless or very close to it, unemployed, sort of a symbol of a down and out person that people would have been familiar with during the Great Depression. And
sort of, but you also, I also got the idea that it was by choice. Because when he decides he's going to help this girl, he's going to get a job, he gets a job. Like, he isn't able to keep the job because he spends his lunch hour with her and is apparently repeatedly late back from lunch. But so obviously the job is not a priority, even when maybe it should be. But he seems to have developed the habit of, I'll get by.
But you also get to see how kind he is.
Yeah. That's what comes through is that he's genial and confident and easygoing. Not comfortable in himself, not entitled, but comfortable in himself. Yes. That sort of confidence.
Well, and his kindness toward the girl. Where he, from the time in the film when he realizes what her situation is and realizes that even in his circumstance that he can help her, that's all he wants to do.
I was really impressed with the her pulling off the touching his hand and the way her expression changes. That was really nicely done on her part. And also, all the way through, because clearly she's not blind. And so when you're acting, to have something that you're paying attention to going on over here, but just, sort of looking off at nothing, that's really hard. That's really hard.
But that ending where Chaplin, the filmmaker now, not just Chaplin the actor, Chaplin lets us, he shows us the tramp at his absolute low point. He looks even rougher than he's looked earlier in the film. We get the impression that, he got out of jail and he's even more down on his luck than he has been before.
Yeah, his outfit is much more distressed.
Yes. And then, he has that chance encounter with her in the window of the flower shop, and she's being nice to him, but also kind of treating him like a pet, and sort of holding out the flower and the coin and saying, come on, we want, what I mean? And so it's so degrading to him.
Yeah, she's offering him charity.
Right. And she doesn't mean anything, she's not being spiteful or anything, but
she doesn't mean anything.
Well, right. So it's this, at first it's just crushing, because like everybody's trying to be nice and everybody is doing what they think is the right thing to do given what they know at that time. But it's just wrenching to see her treating him this way. Um, even though she's being kind. And then there's that moment of recognition. And then the movie ends before you find out what happens next. And that's what I love about it, is that you get that incredibly sad sort of interaction between them where she doesn't know who he is and she's treating him like a pet. And she's like, oh, come here, little fella, take your flower, take your coin. Come on. She's kind of making fun of him to the other girl in the shop. Oh, I found an admirer, and then she recognizes who he is. And there's that just a moment that passes between them. And then you fade out on his face of anticipation or whatever. I mean, it's
uncertainty, really.
Uncertainty. Yeah. And it's just exquisite. I mean, it's sublime.
Yeah. I really do like that, Chaplin doesn't attempt to just tie it up neatly. Because and doesn't really even attempt to go any further, because to have it be remotely authentic, that takes some processing, because he's not what she expected. So that, to do anything with it, it's going to be complicated.
Yeah.
And the story has not been complicated up to this point.
It's mostly a comedy with some melodrama thrown in, the bits with him and the girl. That's, melodrama, especially with, oh no, we're behind on the rent. We're going to be kicked out of our apartment. That's very sort of, that's the stuff of silent melodrama. But yeah, and you see what a great actor Chaplin is. And I've said for a long time, to me, the two best actors in the history of movies are Buster Keaton and Charlie Chaplin. And it's not just because they're really good comedians and they're really funny and they have great timing and et cetera, et cetera. They're incredible actors. And I think you see Chaplin being a great actor in this because, I mean, yeah, the comedy stuff is all flawless, but when he again, right at that ending, when he turns around and sees her in the window and he recognizes her, and or even earlier on when he first sort of realizes that she's blind, he has a nice moment of realization there where it's in his face, where he's like, he kind of gets it, like, oh, and he doesn't do a lot. He does just enough so that we get that he sees it,
Yes. And I do think there were cases where I felt it was overdone. But I understood why they did that. Like I said early on, I'm like, they think that you're reading really slow.
Yeah, but that's common in silent movies.
Yeah, well, also because if you watch modern movies with subtitles, they have subtitles for all of the dialogue. And so you get used to reading pretty darn quick if you don't have the opportunity to slow it the heck down. And, and I'm a pretty experienced reader, so I'm just like, and
then you're just sort of, all right, I got it.
I'm like, okay, just listen to the music now. But it's sort of the same thing with, his realization, and then he thinks it over, and then he says something, and she nods, and then we get the dialogue, the dialogue paint. Then we get the dialogue pane, and it says, "You're blind." I'm like, okay, we're good. But
got it.
Time, I don't fault it for that, because that was appropriate for its era and its genre. But what it made me think of was, the melodrama. You must pay the rent. But I can't pay the rent.
Yes.
You must pay the rent. But I can't pay the rent. I'll pay the rent. Curses, foiled again. This bow doesn't really do it justice. I tried to smoosh it together so it'd work more a little bit like a mustache, but it's still really big. But I'm in here in the office and I'm like, so this is a little costume. Actually, I think it's the back of a sash or something from a costume. So anyway, I was like, I have a bow. I'm gonna do the thing. So yeah, I learned about that little bit from my dad. So if you watch this, hi Dad. But if you've stuck with us for this long, thank you so much. You're welcome to discuss what, Steve, I think, said this is his second favorite movie of all time. So I would love to know what your favorite movies are. And of course, why. Support your claim with evidence from the text. And hopefully I'll see you next month. Thanks again, Steve, for joining me on my channel. And I'll see everybody later. Say bye,
everybody.
Steve.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, folks.